What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about the top 10 most British problems. This is problems, inconveniences, annoyances that are uniquely British, that British people can relate to, and stuff I guarantee you I've never thought about or heard about or had to worry about in my entire life. Just to set everyone's expectations for what's in this list. If I was gonna give an American example of very American problems, we're not talking about murder rates being elevated or something. That's not what. It's a little more lighthearted than that. It's if that Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays, popular chicken fast food place in America, it's not open on Sunday, and that's kind of annoying. Everyone kind of remembers that when Sunday comes around. It's like, dang it, So I think for the most part, this is gonna be British problems, not like political problems or news stories, but interesting little annoyances and stuff, which I think is gonna be kind of funny and also strangely entertaining and informative if it's a bunch of stuff I've never even heard about. So I think this will be good. Or maybe there's going to be a bunch of, crazy crimes against humanity and horrible woes of the world in here. I'm not positive, but I'm curious now. So let's take a look.
For this list, we've looked at everyday issues, annoyances, fears, worries, and anxieties that only British people will truly understand.
Yes.
Grab yourself a brew, and let's get started.
I've held so many doors open in my life now that if I hold a door open and someone doesn't say thank you, I now will say, no, thank you.
Number 10, the British summertime.
It's hotter than the sun!
The second it becomes even a little bit hotter in Britain, everything changes.
The British summertime? Because the stigma a lot of the time for Americans is that it's always raining in Britain, it can be cold, and now it's but when summer comes around, is it too hot, or what exactly is the complaint?
Everyone wants a barbecue, everyone wants a paddling pool, and everyone wants to take off most of their clothing at any given opportunity. Failing that, we head straight to the nearest beer garden or picnic table and parasol. In general, if the sun's out, we're out. Problem is, high summer in these parts can last anywhere from 2 hours to 2 months. And if you do plan a barbecue, you can bet some freak thunderstorm will arrive mid-afternoon to ruin.
Okay. I was desperately trying to understand what the problem is. This is supposed to be a list of very British problems. The problem is when summer comes around, there's no guarantee that the sun is going to be out at all. When it comes out and it's nice weather, no one knows how long it's going to last. You can't plan anything around it. And in all likelihood, the day might just end in another thunderstorm. So, yeah, that is very British. I get it now.
The party. Number 9, Jaffa cakes.
Oh my god.
Jaffa cake.
What? I've got some f***ing Jaffa cakes in my coat pocket.
What is a Jaffa cake? I feel like in some other videos I've heard this thing, this entity, the Jaffa. I'm not sure what it is though.
The humble Jaffa cake is a staple in most British households.
Okay.
Trouble is, it's almost impossible to eat them without quoting an advert or getting into an age-old debate. Because who can say they don't still find themselves contemplating lunar cycles while eating these things?
What? Okay, maybe this is a good thing, because this is such a British reference here. There's a debate, or you're eating the Jaffa cake and you're starting to quote an advert that you saw with Jaffa cakes, or this definitely deserves to be on the list, because I'm barely following along. What is the debate about Jaffa cake? I'm not sure I caught that.
The full moon, half moon, total eclipse tagline will simply never disappear. But the big question is, do these sweet treats belong in the cake or the biscuit family?
Oh my gosh, that's what it is? That's the debate? Okay. I knew it was going to be kind of silly, but are they a cake or a biscuit? Are they a cake or a biscuit? We don't even call them biscuits in America. They're cookies. And if I were asked, is this a cookie or a cake? It looks like a cookie to me. So a biscuit? Or is that very controversial to say?
The name says cake, but they live alongside biscuits in most major supermarkets.
Oh, cake is in the name. That changes everything. I thought this was so obvious. I was sitting on my high horse like, of course it's a biscuit. But cake is in the name, Jaffa Cake. Wow. But they don't even put it with the cakes in the grocery store. Come on. That's all you gotta know.
On what side of the debate do you stand? Answer in the comments
It's a biscuit.
section.
Biscuit. It's a biscuit.
The apples still look pretty good, so everyone should check those out.
Number 8, the ice cream van.
Ice cream.
Okay.
The cheerful sound of the ice cream van, prompting kids to plead with their parents for a rocket lolly, cornetto, or the classic 99.
99 Cornetto Rocket Lolly? I've never heard of any of these ice creams, but that being said, America, like classic American childhood, there were ice cream trucks. We call them ice cream trucks, but exactly the same. What on earth is the British problem here? British problem with the ice cream truck?
The adults themselves are often thrown into crisis though, debating whether, at their age, it's still socially acceptable for them to run from their front doors screaming for a Solero. It totally is, by the way.
I was just asking, some vans sell them?
Well, we certainly don't. This is a family van. You beat it.
One weird...
The problem is British adults don't know if they're welcome to partake in the ice cream van at a certain age. Is that the problem?
downside, though, is that these things routinely show up at really irregular times. Saturday, midday, in the middle of summer, nothing.
Right.
Thursday, 11 a.m, in the dead of winter, the jingle kicks in, leaving us to question the absurdity of life.
Okay, wow. I've never pondered the absurdity of an ice cream van in my life till this moment. You know, ice cream trucks, as we call them, like, they were everywhere when I was a kid. I've not seen an ice cream truck in, like, so long, like 10 years. I think I saw one 5 years ago, like in a park, and it was a big deal. Like, what happened to those things? Are they still, I hope they're still driving around in Britain, because it just makes the world a better place knowing that there's ice cream vans still driving around, playing their little tune.
Number 7, free samples.
You're like a sample abuser. That's what you are. You're abusing your sampling privileges.
No one's opposed to getting free stuff, whether it's samples to promo a new product at the supermarket or a free taster of the newest tipple at your local bar.
Tipple? Tipple? What on earth is a tipple?
But once the initial excitement is over, the awkwardness sets in, as whoever offered you the sample tries to sell you a year's worth of the stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want to be judged for trying and not buying, but you really don't want to actually purchase anything either.
Yeah. This is a phenomenon that occurs in America as well, with free samples. I think the only difference is British people are a lot more polite and a lot more concerned with, like, maybe how they're affecting the person giving the free sample, and they don't want to be rude. Americans, perfectly fine with being rude. They'll take the free sample, they will eat it, say thank you very much, or maybe not even that, and go about the rest of their day, knowing all along that they were never gonna buy anything. So this is a British problem, more of a British problem, I think. The conundrum.
It's time to make your excuses, leave, and feel bad about it afterwards.
Wait, why do you have a photo of what does that say on the picture?
It says, do not feed.
What?
Do not feed. Your wife was abusing our free samples policy.
Number 6, the 5 a.m. airport pint. Unwritten rule number 1. Your holiday starts the second you set foot inside the airport.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how early your flight is, or how clearly you crave a standard breakfast of toast and coffee, You must start as you mean to go on, with the fullest of full Englishes and a nice cold pint of whatever's on tap.
Wait, so I don't think they've gotten to the problem yet. I'm just acknowledging that this is a very British kind of phenomenon. The 5 a.m. pint. You gotta celebrate. Vacation starts as soon as you set foot in the airport. I love it.
Who cares that you'll be travelling for the next 5 hours, or that it's still dark outside? Buy a beer,
Yeah.
take a photo, post on social media. It's
Okay.
the 3-step rule to guaranteed fun, obviously. Maybe, probably not, but we do it anyway.
Glasses of Merlot, please. Oh, don't look at me like
Oh my gosh, I've never heard of this before.
that.
Number 5.
Wait, that's it? So what was the British problem there? Like, just the fear of facing judgment? Like, your vacation started, you deserve your pint, you're gonna have it, doesn't matter if it's 5 a.m. And it's like, just the anxiety of like, oh, what will society think of me? Is that the very British problem? That is a very British problem. I've never once thought of that.
Oh, don't look at me like that.
Number 5. No, after you.
Oh.
As overly polite Brits, the simple use of doors can make for really awkward situations.
Yeah.
There's rules to follow, people, even if no one's really that sure what those rules are. When's
Yeah.
the right time to hold the door open for someone? And how long is too long before you've actually made it more inconvenient than it otherwise would have been?
I mean, a lot of Americans can relate to this one. Yes, at a certain point, you're actually being rude by opening the door. If you're opening the door for someone who's still 50, 100 meters away, they gotta do a 100-meter dash to you to not be rude. So you're not standing there holding the door open. So it's a very fine line. You're trying to be nice, then you're accidentally being a little mean, making someone run to the door. You're trying to hold it open for them, but I don't know. It just this is, as you can tell, this is totally something that occurs in American life as well. Maybe not as often. Americans are not as particularly concerned with social protocols like holding the door open, but for the most part, that holding the door is maybe the one thing Americans do, like, that is a social custom Americans do follow. Like, even if Americans aren't the most respectful and concerned with other people all the time, compared to every country in the world, holding doors open. This seems to be the one international phenomenon.
And what if there are multiple doors? There are only so many variations of thank you, cheers, and much obliged after all. And don't even get us started on door etiquette in the lift. More often than not, we'll just take the stairs. Number 4, proving we are not thieves.
Huh?
It's kind of natural to worry at least a little bit about what other people think of you, and no one wants to be deemed a lawbreaker, especially when you're definitely doing no such thing.
Proving you're not a thief. When you leave a grocery store with an item and you don't have a bag, but you just bought it, like that kind of thing?
Popping into the shop, having a browse, but not actually buying anything is a particular problem for some, because obviously everyone else immediately assumes you're a shoplifter.
Oh, going into a shop and looking around and then leaving without buying anything. Yeah. Okay, man, that's very specific. Is that like very common in Britain? I wouldn't say that's terribly common in America. People going in places and then leaving without buying anything. Americans usually want to buy something, that's for sure.
Are you about 15p?
Well, no one assumes that, but you feel as though they must do. Putting petrol in your car is another cause for irrational concern. Best jog to the kiosk so they're definitely aware that you intend to pay for your fuel, eh?
You just want the petrol then?
Number 3.
This is another instance where it's just like, British people are more concerned with how they come off, being respectful, like making sure someone else doesn't have a misunderstanding. Whereas Americans, a lot of the time, are just like, whatever. Like, You think whatever you're gonna think. I don't really care. No, like, and I don't care if you think I stole something or well, you can come bug me about it or ask me, and I'm not gonna try to go out of my way to come off any kind of way. That's a very American kind of attitude. I'd agree.
3. The price of Freddos.
The price of Freddos. Freddo. This is some kind of frog candy? Chocolate dairy milk chocolate frog thing? I think I've heard of this. The price of Freddos. What about the price of Freddos? Is that his name, Freddo?
We all know that inflation happens, prices go up, and people moan about it. But some things are just too sacred, and the Freddo is everyone's favourite fall guy, offering failsafe proof that the economy has gone to the dogs. A favourite treat for 90s kids everywhere, there was a time when they cost but a single 10p piece, and that's plain or caramel. Nowadays, the original chocolate frog costs an eye-watering 25p or more. And here's the...
The Freddo is the measuring device with which British people tell if the economy has gone to crap or not. the price of a Freddo. I don't think we have anything quite like that. Man, what is it? It's either Sam's Club or Costco. The Costco grocery store has like a hot dog and drink for $1.50, which I think has never changed. That kind of reminds me of this.
The real sickener. The bar itself is even smaller than it used to be.
Ooh.
More money plus less Freddo equals riots on the streets.
No.
Fix it.
Number 2, milk first. What's more frustrating than the go-to cultural cliche of tea drinking in general? The ongoing debate on exactly how to brew the perfect cuppa. It's obviously teabag first, but for some it's milk then water, for others it's water then milk. And
Wait, what? This is okay. Like, I don't drink tea. I barely know about tea. This is like a stereotype Americans have about Britain, that British people really enjoy tea. And this is just the fact that this is on the list and that this is a debate kind of pushes it like to be a bit more confirmed than I thought. British people enjoy tea, and there is some kind of debate about when you should put the milk in. You put milk in your tea? Milk in the tea. Huh. Okay. Is there like a most popular way? Milk, then water, then tea bag, or... Huh. I've never had to even think about this. I've never gotten a chance to try any of the different ways. I don't know.
But for some, it's milk then water. For others, it's water then milk. And it's
Okay.
more than just a personal preference too. Historically speaking, the way
Okay.
you made your tea was supposedly indicative of your social status, with the wealthier folk opting for water first because their higher quality china could withstand the boiling temperature. But as long as there's biscuits, does it really matter?
Cup of tea.
Number 1.
When you put your milk in, can say something about your social class. That is the most British thing I've ever heard. I'm very pleased with this list, by the way. It's very British. British problems. When you should put your milk in. Oh my, that's a British problem right there. Number 1, finally, number 1 is text and email etiquette. Well, I think like people in America care about text and email etiquette, but like a lot of things, probably not as much as British people by the sound of it.
1. Text and email etiquette.
Soz, that last message was meant for someone else.
While we Brits have embraced communication technology just as adequately as everyone else, there are some pitfalls. Mostly because dry, emotionless sarcasm doesn't translate all that well into acronyms or emojis. And if it is...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, humor and sarcasm is hard, impossible almost, to do while texting. And British humor is known. Sarcasm, cornerstone of British humor. Wow. Oh, I feel like I just had an epiphany. This makes so much sense now. What a pickle.
Isn't friendly chit-chat that's causing us to overanalyze, It's the ins, outs, and unknowable nuances of the formal email. Because few things match the internal pressure we feel when trying to write a message to our boss, prospective boss, or in fact anyone who's not in our immediate circle of close friends and family, for fear of being misunderstood.
Fear of being misunderstood. Kind of like the sarcasm while texting. Fear of being misunderstood during emails. That's a pretty British thing. Obviously, Americans care about that, like, to an extent, but not as much, it seems to me.
Madam, I'm writing to...
And it's a good thing, by the way. Like, that's very admirable. Like, I love how polite British people are, how much more caring, and they actually have empathy and concern for other people and how they affect their feelings. Like, it's all very good, by the way. I want to seem like a cold, heartless American who just sends emails without even caring.
To inform you of a fire which has broken out at the premises of... No, that's too formal.
Call us oversensitive if you will, irrational if you please, but for everyone's sake, just make your meaning clear. And do not, under any circumstances, sign off with an ambiguous smiley face.
Oh.
Smiley face.
Oh, smiley face. See? I hate that.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo.
Wow. I did enjoy all those picks, actually. Wow, this was by WatchMojo UK, and I liked it. This was a good list. I was like, it was pretty lighthearted, as I thought, which I really enjoyed, but nonetheless, true. These were, like, so true that just annoying, inconvenient British cultural phenomenons. Like, this actually taught me stuff. I was hoping it would. British problems teach me about, British culture, in a way. It's only through the things, sometimes looking at the things that bug us and annoy us, give an insight that you otherwise might not have gotten. I feel a little better, a little closer to Britain for that today. 10 very British problems. I really enjoyed these. These were very entertaining, and I feel like I can relate to some of them. I feel like I actually, some of these are honestly, like, very similar things that Americans face. Obviously, text and email etiquette, holding the door open for people. Man, the milk first thing, that might have been the most British thing on the whole list, so I enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to British culture and stuff in Britain that I've never seen or talked about before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.